Hey guys, before the interview starts, you should know I didn't explain the audio controls to my cameraman, and for this interview, when he was trying to adjust the audio, he accidentally adjusted it the wrong way a couple times, so I have to apologize ahead of time for the audio problems. If it gets too annoying, I'm going to include an annotation on the page and a link in the description for you to just fast forward past it so you can get to the stuff towards the end of the interview which doesn't have the audio issue. Thank you for understanding and enjoy Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky, the Red Ranger. Steven Zurita here with the one and only Steve Cardenas, who played Rocky in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Power Rangers Zeo. So how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thanks.
All right. So, Rocky, you came in, he replaced Jason. So Steve, what was that like coming into the middle of the show right when it was hitting its, right when it was at its peak?
Well, actually, as you know, I came in later, so it was, I was nervous actually because I knew I was coming into like the biggest kid show in the world, and I knew I had some big shoes to fill in the Red Ranger shoes, so I was super nervous about it. But the other cast members were real like helpful, and they were like real welcoming, so that it made it kind of the transition a little easier. So I was happy about that actually.
And they moved you guys over to Australia pretty quick, I hear, to start the movie, right?
Oh yeah, that happened right away. They were like, congratulations, you're hired. We're going to film for a month and a half, then we're shutting production down, and we're going to Australia to do a movie. And I'm like, what? So anyway, we were super excited. Me, Karen, and Johnny, we were like jumping up and down and like hugging each other. It was just like, it was surreal, man. Really surreal.
So do you remember your first kind of fan interaction, first time someone recognized you, like, hey, you're the Red Ranger, or anything like that?
Yes, I remember I was at a Blockbuster video. Yeah, I was at a Blockbuster video, I was renting a video, and somebody was like, hey man, at first they were like, did I go to high school with you? And I was like, no, and they're like, oh, you're the Red Ranger guy. And I was like, yeah, that's me. He's like, oh, it's so cool to meet you. So yeah, that was a pretty surreal experience, but I definitely remember, I was at Blockbuster video.
Very nice, very nice. So, the show we have on Hyperdrive Pictures, it's called Power Rangers Essentials, where we kind of review the must-see episodes of Power Rangers. So for Rocky, what was kind of a must-see episode you remember that's great for the character?
Well, the one you have to see is Rocky Just Wants to Have Fun, because that was like the first episode that was ever about my character, and it was a disaster for me because I had never done acting before, and to do a show like this where the whole episode was about me and my character and had never had any kind of training in acting or anything, it was a little weird, you know. And when I saw that episode for myself on TV, it kind of turned me off to watching myself on TV for a while because it was a little bit weird, you know, to see yourself. Nowadays, everybody's got cameras and videos, but back then, not everybody had that kind of stuff, you know. There wasn't YouTube, there wasn't all that kind of stuff. So when you saw yourself for the first time, you looked weird.
I believe the line you had, it's a giant pachinko head, was that you?
Actually, that was David Yost. That was his line. He was like, oh man, it's a giant pachinko machine or whatever, yeah.
Oh man, it's a big pachinko head.
But that was David Yost's line, but it was a pretty classic line in the show.
All right, nice. And then another thing that I would like to talk about with Power Rangers, and it's one of the things that makes the show memorable to me, was all the lessons that it taught. So, you know, almost every week it was, you know, there would be a good moral for the kids to learn, and the Rangers would learn it along with us. Was there one that stuck out to you that you were specifically passionate about, or you just remember the most?
Actually, one I remember the most was one I wasn't even in. It was actually in the first season. It was Amy Jo, when Amy Jo was conversing with a girl who was hearing impaired, and she was signing with her, and she learned sign language. She learned actual sign language to do the, you know, to signing with this girl on the show as part of the episode. It was really cool. It's real touching, actually.
Actually, that reminds me, you had an episode where Rocky had a crush on a martial artist, but she was deaf, right? Blind, yeah. Right.
Yeah, she was blind. Yeah, actually, that was a good one, too, yeah. What we try to teach people is that it doesn't matter what somebody's disabilities might be. You know, we need to learn to look beyond that.
Right.
You know,
right.
People should learn to look beyond that, and it shouldn't matter, you know? It's always what's inside that counts.
Yeah. That was a really big one. That, if you kind of had to boil it down, I guess that would be one of the main lessons that show taught, was it's always on the inside that counts.
Tolerance, yeah. Teamwork and tolerance. Those were the big things, you know?
Was that actor blind in real life?
No.
Oh, okay. She was good. I believed it.
Good.
Yeah.
She was good.
All right. So, after Power Rangers, I mean, even before Power Rangers, you are an amazing martial artist. And I guess...
Yeah, I know. We trained together.
Not to brag, but...
He's one of my students, by the way. He trains jiu-jitsu with me.
Right. So, you started in Taekwondo.
Yep.
I was just saying to my crew, it's a little weird because we find out we have these similarities. Both of our names are Steve, and we're both from San Antonio.
Both from San Antonio, yeah.
We both did Taekwondo and now jiu-jitsu. So,
I know, man. Dude, it's like I'm looking in the mirror right now.
Oh, that's a good mirror. I'm looking forward to that. So I just think that's crazy. It's 20 years later, and you still got, I mean, I'm looking at your booth, and you're kicking higher than I ever could. and it's amazing. So, I mean, any tips for anybody thinking about martial arts and they might think, maybe I'm a little too late for this, or maybe it's not for me?
That's the tip. It's never too late to start, you know what I mean? You just have to get in and do it, and you got to commit to something. Any style is better than not doing anything at all, better than sitting on the couch, you know?
Right.
That would be my advice to people.
Good advice, even after the show. Good lessons. All right, Steve, thanks so much for the interview.
Thanks, Steve.
I'll see you around. All right.